So I'm guessing it's becoming an increasingly middling idea that I think of these concepts for videos literally moments before I start recording, which is today we're at a new record. We're at about 30 seconds. Um, so a few days ago, if you follow me on Twitter, which you should, um, someone said, "Hey, who's the creator or something, or was it manga? I don't know. That inspires a sense of childlike wonder in you." And I thought about it. Oddly enough, the answer is Junji Ito. That sounds insane because generally at the end of his books, everyone is dead usually, or at the very least, someone has had significant psychological damage. But the reason for this is something that I think a lot of people miss in most of Junji Ito's work. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm coming on down from the anime hoity-toity heavens over here. I'm not, Professor Bob who's going to give you a 45-minute watch this video, be 45 fucking minutes. The 45-minute lecture about why you're all wrong about Dragon Ball GT being a piece of poo, or, why Guts is the most complicated anime man in the world and not just the big punchy man, which is true. Um, but there's a thing that I always feel like people overlook in Junji Ito's work that kind of on some level does inspire quite a bit of wonder in me. And that is the idea of there is a certain amount of outright childish imagination in a lot of his works. And even though anime has a lot of that, usually in the form of like shonens like One Piece and like Naruto and Pure Academia, they're always expressed in a way that is an extremely one part fighting game, one part stand by me. You don't normally see you see this so much with the boys coming of age as the medium for an adventure, as a medium for venturing into the unknown, that it's kind of not unknown. Like, no one has ever asked, is Louis gonna be the king of the pirates one day? Is fucking Deku ever gonna figure out how that all for one thing works? Well, that's not even a question. Like, they even tell you at the beginning, yeah, he's gonna do it, but here's a road on how to do it. So the reason why Junji Ito gives me this sense of wonder is that everything he does, there's a certain amount of just some dude, just some. I don't want to say dumb guy because he's obviously a fucking genius, but just a dude sitting in his room who was just shit posting on like Tumblr or Twitter or something, and or probably an artist, more than likely like artist Twitter, and just said, man, what if people were balloons? Or like that wonderful McElroy a brand stream of consciousness. Like, okay, hear me out. What if people really liked circles? Like, springs, slinkies, done. Those little things in ramen, done. These little black holes that suck you in, done. They love them. I didn't plan on that. I didn't plan on this shirt. Um, okay, so we all know that people love that. What if we made an entire series about it? What if we printed 600 words about it, guy, or 600 pages about it? Let's make it happen. Um, or just the idea of, how whenever a person sees something, right? Humans are very adept at recognizing faces and things, like two, a long line here and like a line here and a line here, like creates a face. Junji Ito gives me a lot of that feeling, but not specifically for faces, but in the sense of someone looked at that, specifically Junji Ito. They looked at that, and instead of, saying that's a face, they said, wouldn't it be weird? Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be funny if this thing? Wouldn't it be weird or funny if head balloons? What would happen if you popped a head balloon? Is there a skull in there? I don't know. What if what if there was a person that just stitched stuff up like real fast? Like, how would you know? How would you know how to catch them? I don't know. I mean, that sounds insane coming out of your mouth, but there is just a very interesting sense of a non-coherent thought process. Well, not thought process, but creative process that is then reverse engineered and then reflected through the lens of horror. Like, I always kind of get the feeling that horror was sort of the last thing that happens in Junji Ito work. Not in the sense of like he doesn't want to do it, because he obviously does. This is what he loves. But it's not coming from a place of wanting to like give you nightmares. It's not coming from a place of like inspiring angst or sadness in you. It's coming from a place of trying to inspire surprise and trying to make you feel something. Now, normally, again, for anime, more often than not, the go-to emotions are like senses of dread, um, senses of tension, and sense of like overwhelming the odds. But not too many just go for a bang surprise. Or if they do it, it's usually through like a more slice of life thing. So, you know, just seeing certain emotions, emotional boxes trying to be ticked that I just don't see very often is one that I think is super cool. And just the idea of not knowing what's going to happen, what's going to come around the corner. Because there is a very particular feeling of when you open a Junji Ito book and you're turning the pages, you know, they damn near announce that, oh shit, it's going to be on the next page. What is it? Could be anything. It could be a worm guy. It could be a bunch of heads that actually look a lot like a centipede. Ooh, it could be a very greasy man. It could be a slinky dude. It could be anything. And that sense of it could literally be anything is on some level a little bit inspiring, because when you go outside, when you go to the store, you know I'm just going to get bread. And that's just how it's going to be. They're going to have bread, and I'm going to get my bread, and I'm going to come home, and I'm going to make the sound, because that's already what I planned for. But it is nice seeing that change of pace of when you turn that page, I mean, don't get the wrong idea, it's always something terrible. It's always something that wants to cause you bodily harm. That is the foregone conclusion here. But it is interesting to see different emotional boxes being ticked therein. I feel like this is because a lot of Junji Ito's work is greatly inspired by Kazuo Umezu, who also does a particular form of horror that is kind of semi-lost to time, with the exception of the recent Gegege no Kitaro and Laughing Salesman, which is one we're gonna talk about that one day. I don't really know what to call it, but I want to call it shonen horror, where it's not really about blood and guts, even though there's blood and guts. It's not necessarily about trying to inspire senses of dread, even though I did definitely read a book where a lot of kids die of the plague. But it's about just trying to rile you up. It's trying to get an emotional response out of you. And on that level, I feel like that's more of what horror is about than just trying to make you sad all the time. So anyway, oh boy, I've already started running out of ideas for videos. Okay, if you enjoyed this and you want to see more of me rambling for a couple of minutes every day, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to see me talk about some more Junji Ito stuff, oh god, how do you end videos again?